The machine stitches it perfectly now, and we see that at no time does it miss a stitch. Well, in this video, I'm going to show and explain how to adjust a sewing machine with horizontal grab. To ensure the machine works well and doesn't skip stitches or simply doesn't sew for us. We need to keep in mind there are two adjustments for the correct needle bar height and grab adjustment. In this video, we'll do the entire adjustment. I'll explain all the measurements of where to adjust so that we can sew perfectly without any skipping. Height of the stitch. Well, let's insert the material and we'll see what issue arises. Now when the needle bar height is misadjusted, it is not well calibrated, not at its correct height, and we keep going. To know what causes us to itch, we wash the clothes and step on the pedal. Take out the material and cut it, and we are going to see, and we see that the machine is skipping stitches. We can see that these stitches are much larger than the normal ones. Here I can move them. In this case, we are going to adjust the bar height. Before starting, we are going to lower all of this. I will show you exactly how far it is reaching. I will show you where it should reach and where the tip of the grab should pass regarding the needle bar. Let's start with, to remove everything, we'll take off the presser foot. Let's remove the plate. We are going to remove the sliding plate. It should always come out forward. We're going to open the bobbin holder retainer and take it out. The bobbin holder with its cap. I can also remove the teeth. Remember, we used these two screws. And remove the feed dogs for better visibility. We'll also remove this small plate that supports the bobbin holder and retainer as well. We remove one. We go 1 and 2 screws. Some have 3, but this one has only 2. We take it out to the side. You can see it comes out like this. Here we have it. Then we will remove to lower the cover that covers the needle bar. In this case, this model has the screw here. We loosen it. Okay, now we're going to move the hand wheel down, lower the needle. Remember, it's on a straight stitch. Turn the hand wheel, and we see at this moment that the tip of this is the tip of the hook, which grabs the needle thread to interlace them and form the stitch. We can see the tip is going through the hole from the needle. This makes it so make some stitches and skip others as we saw on the fabric. But to make that adjustment, we need to put the machine in, if it is at the maximum, if it is at the width, we are going to do the following. This adjustment must always be done with the left drop in this case. We see that it is on the left straight, we turn the wheel, and we see that it is going to the right. Whenever the machine is a horizontal grab type, we must make the adjustment with the left stitch because it is the furthest point from the needle. And the twister for the orange blossom, which is now the grab, the tip of the grab. And let's see the following. We can see that the tip of the grab passes below the eye. This makes the machine, because of the skipped stitches, the machine won't sew or will keep skipping stitches. Remember that in this machine, the hook is well tightened. So this means we need to adjust the needle bar height, always doing it from the left side on these grab machines. Now we will do the following, which is to go to the screw. It holds the needle bar. Now we will go to the needle bar and I will show you the two methods which allow us to adjust the needle bar height. Typically needle bars come with some lines at the top. Here we can see them, which brings 2. Normally these 1 bars wear out a lot when working. And in some machines sometimes these little lines tend to save wear, so the adjustment might vary from the height of the needle bar. So that means it's not reliable to trust these 2 little lines since they wear out and the height of the bar varies. And if we follow this part, we may have problems ahead. Now let's move to the second step, which is a much more reliable step, and I'll show you how it's done. Now we'll put the feed dog plate and set it to straight stitch, making sure the needle is at its highest point. Higher at this moment, we're going to take a ruler that measures in millimeters and see how much there is from the tip of the needle. Up to the feed dog's plate, we can see we currently have 16 millimeters. We see that this height is too high, so the point of the crab cannot catch the needle thread. What we're going to do is loosen the screw that holds the needle bar. Let's find this screw. If we turn the wheel, we see that it always goes up and down with the needle bar. Oh, this is the one that holds the bar, and we can see it. Let's put the needle at its lowest point and loosen this screw. By loosening it, we can easily lower or raise the needle bar without moving the hand wheel on the machine. Now we'll set it to 14 millimeters. We have it ready at 14 millimeters, and let's see the following. Left drop, and we'll see that the tip, at no point does it come close to the crab part, and if we move the needle back a tiny bit, we'll see that it never touches this part of the crab.
So here we can see that the ideal height for this machine would be 14 millimeters. And as we said before, since the crab is well adjusted, we can see what is the point the crab goes a little higher than the eye of the needle. And we can see this way, ensuring that when working straight and on a curve, the machine won't skip not a single stitch. By securing the farthest point between the needle and the claw, this will ensure that on the right fall and in the center part, the machine work well. As the crab, the tip will always grab the needle's thread. Now, let's see it to the right. And we see that the tip will always go a bit above the eye. We set it straight. Similarly, we see that the tip goes further up. Look, this guarantees that the machine must sew perfectly. Now we are going to assemble all its pieces and test it on the fabric. We pull the retainer towards the beret holder so that this part doesn't hold it, so it doesn't jump out. Thinks it. And here we can see this. We see that it has a difference of 2 millimeters. Now what we need to do is the following. And that is, we'll move it a bit so it stays about 1 millimeter. That we can see from here, the thread must pass through. And it should have enough space so that it doesn't get stuck in this part. So if your thread gets stuck more or less around here, you must loosen these screws and move it slightly. We can see that the thread passes through here, then we tighten the screws. Fire! We have the coil for attention. We place the needle plate, the presser foot, and test on the fabric. Okay? We thread the machine. We insert the needle and step on the pedal. We use the presser foot, turn it around, and we can see the difference. Keep on moving. How in the seam below, we don't miss any stitches anymore. Compared to the one above, which wasn't skipping a stitch, now we are going to check it on the wader armhole. We raise the needle and make the armhole wider. And we step on the pedal. Take you next time. We take out the material and check. And here we can see at no point did we get a skipped stitch, neither in straight stitching nor in the armhole. Step by step how to adjust the crab, what we need to do to avoid skipped stitches or the machine not sewing properly. Well, before we start with all this, let's load the material and see exactly what's causing the problem with this machine. We cut the presser foot and insert the material. We stick the needle and press the pedal. Okay, as we can see, we are going to raise the needle and take out the material. And we can see that the machine simply isn't sewing. Or here, we see that it did. Some stitches are short and some are long. Right now, the machine It's misaligned due to the timing of the hook. The bar height is now totally adjusted, and with the bar timing fully synchronized, all that's left is adjusting the crab. Let's go to the crab to adjust it. Adjust the timings, because if it is fast or slow, the machine will pass, like here on the fabric, and it won't sew, or it will give us trouble, skipped stitch. Next, we are going to do the following. For greater convenience and visibility, we'll remove all the settings and take out all these parts. Then we'll turn the machine over to check the underside. Now from the bottom part, we are going to remove this cover and this cover. This cover comes off here. You're going to need to unscrew several screws, regardless of your machine. You always remove the covers from the bottom part, whatever the model. This model applies to all these Singer models and all Singer machines, since they all work with a belt in the part of crab. This is how our machine looks from underneath. Remember that this applies to all these machines that work, okay? With our machine like this, we will set the tip to its maximum width, since we need to make this adjustment with the needle falling to the left. Since that is the farthest point between the tip of the crab and the needle, if we do it with the right side, we'll end up misaligned because it would be with the nearest point. In this case, since it's with the horizontal crab, we should do it with the left. When it's with a vertical crab, it's done with the right key. Let's get practical. What's next is to move the wheel and we'll make the needle fall to the left. And we'll see, since it's loose, remember that the tip must go through the left side, at least 0.5 millimeters above the eye, when the needle is at its lowest point towards the left. Here we see as the point of the crab is passing just below the eye. There we can see, pass that down. It means the crab is misaligned. So let's stop adjusting it. We should use the one on the left to ensure it stitches straight, and on the right side of the scissor dropper, it should also sew well. Always with this machine with a horizontal crab, we must make the adjustment with the one on the left. So for this, we need to move the crab forward a bit, and we'll do that from the top. Underneath, we will see this part where the vertical axis fits the horizontal one at the top, and we will loosen these two screws. In other machines, other models, the screws come on this side. It's the same. So let's loosen these two screws. We don't need the wings too tight. I'll do it lightly so the crab can move freely. And by loosening it, we can see how we can freely move the axis that supports the crab. And this way, the needle will stay still, while with this, we can freely move the crab and advance or retreat it. In this case, we need to move it forward. So it would move forward. To the right, let's see it from the top. Well, here we have it. Now what we have to do is turn to the right for now. Like the point, let's move forward a bit. If we move the hand wheel in a counterclockwise direction, we see that we can move it up and down, and the crab will stay still. At that moment, when we have it there, we will place the tip a little higher than the eye, as we can see there. There, we can place it. Then we'll go back down, and we're going to tighten the two screws again. After tightening the screws well, remember, don't apply too much force so it doesn't rotate. After tightening, we will turn our machine and rotate the hand wheel. We rotate the hand wheel, and you will see how it turned out. The water pushed, and there we can already see how the tip of the crab goes a little above the eye. If we look to the right, we see that it also goes higher up the eye. We are putting it straight, and we see it pointing. It also happens higher up from the needle's eye. This ensures that the machine doesn't skip stitches or stop sewing. We also need to keep in mind that if the crab is too ahead, it will go very high above the eye. This will also cause skip stitches. With this adjustment, the machine should sew perfectly now. We're going to put all its parts together, cover the bottom part, and test it with fabric. Let's see how our sewing turned out. We set the stitch to straight. First we practice with a straight stitch, and we insert the needle. And we step on the pedal. Come on, push, push, push. And we can see how, compared to now, we see that it stitches perfectly, sewing straight. Now let's stop testing it at the tip of CSAP and move the needle up. And we place it in the larger, wider armhole. We insert the needle and step on the pedal. Thanks for watching. We turn around and see that now the machine stitches perfectly. We can see the entire armhole, and we see that at no point does it skip stitches underneath. It should fit perfectly both on the shoulder and underarm. And we can see it adjust well, perfect with the previous measurements, just as I showed you.